In Minnesota here, for example, there is a company and it does skilled machining for the oil and gas industry, the airline industry, a number of industries. And they were investing in automation. And the question was, well, why are you investing in automation? And the assumption was to replace workers. But the reason why they're investing in automation is they didn't want their 60-year-olds to retire. And so they wanted to make the job easier to do so that they would hang around, because there was a gap in, they had a lot of young people, but didn't have very many middle-aged people, and then they had these older workers. So the automation was being to keep the experienced workers around longer so that they could, fulfill their contracts, and also to teach the ropes, the intangibles, to the younger workers. That conversation, variations of that conversation, was happening more and more. Then, of course, we entered the COVID economy, the pandemic recession, where you had 22 million people unemployed in March and April. We've now come back a little bit, and we're about 11.5 million people unemployed. So we're in a very different economy right now. But nonetheless, what is the underlying factor is when the pandemic recession is in the rearview mirror, and the unemployment rate does go down, that again, it's going to put pressure on management to think differently about experience.
So, Chris, you were very optimistic about the prospects for experienced workers when you wrote your book. And obviously, things have happened since. Are you saying that you still feel optimistic about the prospects, but that maybe it's a little further out? And how far out do you think it would be before employers wake up again that they have to think about this?
So I think it's farther out. And look, one of the things, there's many things we don't know when we're trying to figure out how is COVID-19 changing the world of work. We have some good guesses. For example, we know that about a third of jobs could be done remotely before COVID. The evidence is that's expanded to about half of jobs can be done remotely. And that's going to continue to a certain extent. And we know that more workers are going to be working from home more hours, but how many hours is that? A little bit unclear. But we are moving toward much more of a digital economy. So in terms of thinking about, the older worker, I think it's going to be a harsh environment. And the reason why it's going to be a harsh environment is the pressure is really clear. You're going to need to work longer to earn a paycheck is growing thanks to COVID, because nobody's making any money off of interest rates right now. So your classic, retirement savings, make some income off your bonds. It anchors some of the riskier parts of your portfolio. Right now, people aren't making income. Even doing a gig economy part-time job, you'll make more money than you will clipping your coupons. So that the pressure on people to work longer is going to grow. Employers are in somewhat of the driver's seat. And employers are in a position now where they can be choosier than they could back in 2019. So how this and there is this additional factor, and I don't know how this plays out, which is health discrimination on top of age discrimination.